Congratulations, John Eric. You are the winner from last week's giveaway. Enjoy your Hot Comics list.
Oh, another week, another list, the hottest comic books defining this generation of collectibles, and we are on the mic with, you know who he is, Jem from Jem and Collectibles. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good, feeling great. How are you?
Dude, we got some books to discuss. We have some records to report on. Hit the subscribe button, comic fam, slap the like button. Stay tuned to the end. We have a giveaway on deck. And let's jump into it at number 10 with some superhero macabre goodness. We got Ghost Rider #1 leading the list.
Tom, is this another trickle-down effect? Marvel's Spotlight 5 starting to outprice itself, so we're going to the next best thing. Ghost Rider 1, first appearance of Damian Hellstrom with 3 record-breaking sales in this past week.
Many consider this to be the first cameo appearance because there's multiple panels in shadow. I want to hear what the comic fam thinks about this. And let's take a look at some numbers because a 6.5 back in April could have been secured for $600, and that's up 17% this week, selling for an all-new high of $700. And the 8.5 back in April going for $825, up 21%, selling for $1,000 even.
Tom, those are some pretty good gains, but none of them come close to the 9.8 sale, which sold for $7,495 in February, up 143%, now selling for a whopping $18,250, and that's the second 9.8 sale in 2021.
There's a lot of spec potential behind Johnny Blaze, whether it be because of the interest investing in Bronze Age keys or his potential appearance in the upcoming sequel to Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. When you consider that with the census count comparisons, it gives reason to these tremendous price hikes in a short 4 months. Marvel Spotlight 5 has a lonely 4 copies graded on the census to date at 9.8, whereas Ghost Rider 1 has a total of 37 copies graded at 9.8. And over the past decade, there's only been 22 recorded sales of Ghost Rider 1 at a 9.8. This is one of the most unique characters to have been created in comic books. The macabre meets superheroes, and with a very difficult to secure and high grade black cover, this is a spec members are wanting to secure now before prices hike up even more. Now, let's take a look at number 9 on the list because we have Silver Surfer 4 to discuss.
That's right, not the first time this book has been on the list, and hopefully not the last. This is coveted as many collectors' favorite cover of all time, and for good reason. Incredible classic cover by John Buscema, interiors done by Sal Buscema, second appearance of Mephisto, classic Silver Surfer vs. Thor cover. Let's take a look at these record-breaking sales.
The 4.5 is up 25% this week. Last sale puts it in April for $758, being shattered with a new $950 sale. The 9.0 back in November could have been secured for $2,200, up 98% this week, selling for an all-new high of $4,360.
We got a high-grade 9.6, which sold for $9,750 in April, up 77%, selling for $17,250.
Something notable about this comic book is that in the past and to this day, many members believe it to be a lower print issue than surrounding issues in the run, whether it be distribution problems or complications. And this has been stricken down by Roy Thomas himself. He's actually gone on the record to say he doesn't recall anything weird happening with this comic.
Yeah, in fact, there are 1,300 more graded copies of Silver Surfer 4 than the previous issue, Silver Surfer 3, which was the first appearance of Mephisto. Anyway, moving on over to number 8, we have a returning champion, Daredevil #1, the first appearance of Foggy Nelson.
Well, don't forget about Karen Page, my man. We have Daredevil 1 seeing all new heights by the month. I'll remind the community about the 4.5 record breaker that was shattered just a month ago for a new $6,000, and that was an increase of 46% back then. Well, we have the 6.0 prior record below that back in November going for $4,500, up 153% this week, selling for an all-new high of $11,405.
Then we have the CGC 7.5. This book sold for $12,200 in April, up 33%, now selling for $16,250.
Then we got the 9.0. First appearance of Daredevil in that Amarillo suit we had back in September. This book going for $18K, up 44%. Now selling for $25,950. Clearly, Daredevil is hot, but not as hot as this next book on the list. Literally being engulfed in flames. We have X-Men 101 at number 7.
The first appearance of the Phoenix, of Jean Grey being taken over by the Phoenix Force. Now, I know mutant keys are hot, and all collectors want to get those X-Men keys before it's too late, but do fans really think that Disney is going to do the Phoenix Saga for the 3rd time?
I don't know about that one, Jem, but what we do know is that Jean Grey is rising through the ashes in this issue, and members are desperately trying to secure what books they can, so much that they're paying as much as double for a book in the same week. Let's take a look at these numbers.
Well, let's start with the CGC 9.2 because it had a little bit of movement. This book sold for $1,400 back in April, up 7%, now selling for $1,500.
Then we have the 9.6, whose record was broken twice since May. Prior record showing $3,383 was outdone by a $3,555 sale, and wait, a $6,900 sale. That's an increase of 104% in just a few dias. But wait, there's more, because the 9.8 had the same type of treatment.
You know there had to be some price correction with that 9.6 selling for $6,900. The 9.8 sold for $5,449 back in April. So this record-breaking sale, with an increase of 143%, now going for $13,259.
Holy hell. And this is where things get very interesting, because in this same week, this comic in the same grade sold for half that amount. That's right. We're talking like a $6,000 sale over on eBay compared to a Comics Link record breaker at just over $13K. What does this mean?
I don't know, man. That's kind of a tough one. I kind of like to think if you're a collector buying on Comic Link, you're kind of one of the elite. You've already done the eBay stuff. eBay is like a Miller High Life, and Comic Link is like a bottle of Ace of Spades.
I like the comparison, Jem, especially when you consider this. The giant size X-Men 9.8 all-time record, although white pages and it looks gorgeous and the colors were more vibrant, sold for $20,000 more on one of these elite auction houses versus one of the more recent $40,000 sales that we've reported on. This is a huge price difference. So, is it because of the prestigiousness of these auction houses? Is it because of the quality of the 9.8? It's tough to imagine that that would equate to double the value. What I suspect is that there is a growing membership that is dedicated to buying on these platforms over others, and they do not care what happens on eBay versus other auction houses. They want whatever that auction house is going to be bringing to market, whether it be because of the trust that's kind of established or the sheer convenience of not having to worry about anything.
Yeah, I think collectors dropping big money on comic books, they don't want to deal with eBay with the potential scams. It's like the wild, wild west over there. Although it does seem to be more buyer oriented, they don't want to deal with it. There's more comfort in dealing with a big auction house. But I think this does go to show you, if you're out there trying to buy and sell, you probably want to keep an eye on both, because you could potentially get a great deal over on eBay.
What I can say is that we've been recording the historical record for these record breakers for nearly a year now. 11 months, actually. Hit that subscribe button, comic fam. And record breakers have happened on all platforms. It's not just one over the other. So you're right. Members need to be willing to take risks on some, but also recognize that some avenues may be better to sell than others.
Swooping in at number 6, we have Hawkman number 4, the first appearance and origin of Zatanna. We know that the WB has got our girl Emerald Fennell scheduled to write this flick, causing these record-breaking sales.
And I expect to see updates on this production this October with DC Fandom, so I think there is time to get in still, early, at a low buy-in, undervalued, and I'm not just talking Zatanna, I'm talking multiple DC blue chip keys, but we'll get into that after these numbers, because a 2.0 just went up 129% this week. Back in December, going for 210, now with an all-new high of 480.
The 3.5, which sold for $525 back in March, is up 33%, selling for $700.
Then the 6.5, going for $1,000 back in September, up 70% this week for an all-new high of $1,700. For a mid-grade copy that you can secure for under $2K, this book is looking better by the day, especially when you consider how often these books don't come up on the mic. Jem, we traditionally don't talk about DC keys hitting records unless it's like for 9.8 blue chip ghost books. I'm talking ones that come up like once in a decade.
Yeah, DC keys are criminally undervalued compared to Marvel keys. They're not even in the same ballpark. When you compare first appearances of like Darkseid, which the 9.8 of Forever People once sold for 4K, it is nowhere near a 9.8 of Iron Man 55, which is actually next on the list, coming in at number 5.
Yeah, let's give the comic fam some perspective with Darkseid's price hitting $4,000. We have at the list at number 5, Iron Man 55, the first appearance of Thanos, the first major villain in the MCU.
Yeah, and it seems like this book hasn't been hot for a while, but I wonder, is it the Eternals bringing the Mad Titan back to the forefront of comic books? The CGC 6.5 sold for $747, and that was back in 2019. It's up 10%, now selling for $825.
The 9.6 record was broken twice this week. Back in 2019, this book could have been secured for $4,500, now selling for an all-new high of first $4,950, and then to be outdone with a 33% price hike, selling for an all-new record of $5,977. Now, we mentioned the Darkseid, Forever People, issue number 1, hitting $4,000 at a 9.8. Hit him with the 9.8 of Iron Man 55.
Man, $8,300 is what this book went for back in 2018, and it's up 156%, now selling for $21,250.
That's right, comic fam, you heard it right. Thanos at a 9.8 is selling for $16,000 more than Darkseid's first appearance in 9.8. And yes, Thanos has made his impact in the collector's scene. He's made his impact in the mainstream, very successful franchises. However, Darkseid is coming. We have yet seen the full impact of this villain. I think Spec needs to focus on not just this major villain, but the DC blue chip keys in their entirety.
DC's got to do something to get their cinematic universe on track if they want to see the success that Marvel's had in both movies and in key issues. Anyway, speaking of key issues, number 4 on the list, we have Fantastic Four 48, the first appearance of the Silver Surfer and first cameo of Galactus.
The last time we reported on this key book, it sold for an increase of 116% with an all-new high for a 9.2 of $19,200. We knew that there would be some price correction, but I did not see to this extent.
That's right, a 1.0. Talk about your entry level. Sold for $962 in May. It's up 46%, now selling for $1,400.
Then the 6.0, back in April, was going for $4,400, is up 35%. This is going to be a $6,000 book any day, selling for an all-new high of $5,947.
And what's been crazy about this list so far, it's the 9.8s, the highest selling books, having the biggest percentage increases in sales. The 9.8 sold for $37,200 back in August. It's up 152%, now selling for $93,888, almost $100K.
When you consider that there are 39 copies graded at 9.8 of this issue on the census, a total of 6,406 copies that are unsigned and unqualified in total within all grades, this comic book does come up more often than others. It just shows that members not only expect to see our Silver Surfer, but Galactus in the MCU soon.
That 9.8 had 59 bids during Comic Link's May auction, and we have a ton of honorable mentions from that auction as well that you got to check out in our upcoming video.
That's right, comic fan. We have more hot comics to discuss later this week, so slap that subscribe button. You got to see where these auctions ended because there's a lot of record breakers we're going to be reporting on. Some 9.9s are causing a ruckus. All right, let's take a look at number 3 on the list because we have Black Knight goodness, Avengers 48 to discuss.
This book has been non-stop since the teaser trailer, and say what you will about it, it does have collectors excited for Dane Whitman, aka the third Black Knight, to make his MCU debut. A 6.5 sold for $475 just last month. It's up 111%, now selling for $1,000.
The 8.5 back in May was going for $1,900. That's up 18%, selling for $2,250.
But it doesn't stop there. The CGC 9.4, which sold for $1,800 back in September of 2020, up 144%, now selling for $4,400.
This 9.4 sale tells me that there is still room, movement on the higher grade copies of this issue, because the 9.6 last week had an all-time record of $5,500. That's only $1,000 difference from a 9.4 to a 9.6.
Everybody's talking about Kit Harington in the trailer, but nobody's mentioning that suit of armor that we saw. I wonder what that could be. Anyway, moving on to number 2, we have Journey into Mystery 83, the first appearance of Thor, his alter ego Donald Blake, the first appearance of Mjolnir.
The most colorful superhero of all time. We have the 4.5 going back in 2019 for $8,250, up 89%, selling for $15,600. And the 7.5 back in 2019 went for $24,520. That's up 145%. It just hit the $60,000 marker in under 2 years.
And when you see those types of increases, you know price corrections happening across the board. The CGC 9.0, which sold for $80,000 in April of this year, it's got to catch up. 67% increase, now selling for $145,000.
Comic fam, June 9th is fast approaching, and with blue chip books being heavily invested on like Journey 83, I can't help but point to Journey 85, the first appearance of Loki. We've been telling you that that book's been criminally undervalued for quite a long time, just like Daredevil 1, just like Zatanna's first appearance in Hawkman 4. As we approach the next Disney Plus show, I expect that blue chip book to move in price quickly. So don't get discouraged when you see these major blue chip record breakers, because although it may price you out for some, it opens the doors for others.
That's why you got to be on that app, man. Key Collector will let you know what's the next best thing. What should you be on the lookout for when that major key starts outpricing itself?
Utilize that code TOM101 to unlock a free 2-week subscription of the best comic app in existence. We're chatting Key Collector comics. You can sort all your comic books. You can get average pricing, real-time updates on the market. Keep up with us and support what we do. And now we're at the #1 hottest comic book in the world. And we're talking Kraven.
That's right, Amazing Spider-Man 15, the first appearance of Kraven the Hunter, the second appearance of his half-brother the Chameleon, the first mention of Mary Jane. And speaking of Key Collector, if you would have had the app back in July of 2019, you would have known that a trusted source told Key Collector that a Kraven movie was in development, and we got official confirmation this week.
Survey Kravinoff has been announced. That's right, we have an actor, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who's taken on the role of the Hunter, the foe of Spider-Man, whose only goal is to hunt and be the best killer in the game. And we have a new 4.5 record to start you out with. Back in March, going for $1,530, up 63%, selling for an all-new high of $2,500.
Then we have the 8.5. This book sold for $5,055 back in April, and that record was broken twice this week. We have a $6,667 sale from Comic Link, and up 44% from that April sale, an eBay sale for $7,277.
You heard that right, comic fam. eBay selling for more than Comic Link, proving our analysis earlier. Hit that like button. But the 9.2 back in March, going for $8,800, up 96% this week, selling for an all-new high of $17,250.
Will this movie just be Kraven's beginning or Kraven's last hunt? Let us know in the comments section below.
Comment down below, comic fam. Let me know what you think about this video. What do you think about Kraven leading the list? It'll enter you to win a TMNT 109 sketch variant done by the very talented John Boy Myers. And Jem, you have something really cool coming from Dynamite.
Yeah, that's right. We got our third exclusive variant. This one is for Betty Page, The Curse of the Banshee, drawn by the very talented Jay Lee. And if you look closely on Betty Page's ring finger, you might notice a little Easter egg there. This is only going to be available in the Gem Mint Dynamite box that we're going to crowdfund on Indiegogo. Tom, put the RSVP in the description box below. It's going to come with a bunch of channel swag like bookmarks, t-shirts, pins, coasters, and more.
Consider it done, Jem. in Comic Fam. As always,
Geek responsibly and stay minty fresh.
enough said. Comic Fam, take a look. That's 2 other videos that we made for you to watch, for you to enjoy. Have fun. Have a great week.